So big up on yourself, people. You know, Javier Mascherano said that this game is a round of 16 game, but for them it's a final. Now, that is the mentality that the Inter Miami team is going into the game. Now, Rudolph Speed in his pre-match press conference also said that Inter Miami has weakness, and they are going to look to exploit those weaknesses. I'm going to give you the rundown of what they said in the interview and also my thoughts on it. But there's an important factor here, and I'm very, very much impressed with how Inter Miami structured their team. I'm really impressed, and there's a reason why the Inter Miami team is actually so good right now. But we'll get into that. But before that, big up on yourself, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Now, the post-match interview was done yesterday, technically, and Javier Mascherano and Rudolph Speed, coaches of both Inter Miami and Cavalier FC respectively, gave their insight and their thoughts about the game, what is likely to happen, what to come, what to expect from their team also. I'm going to read the article. It's published in the Gleaner. I think this is how we publish it. Let me check. Ashley Angwin, yeah. So, big up on yourself, people. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into it. So it's titled No Illusion. A number of pundits have labels tonight Concacaf Champions Cup round of 16 game between Inter Miami and Cavalier as the Battle of David versus Goliath. But you know how that go. You know the one that go. You know who were the champions in that one, in that biblical battle. But will history repeat itself biblically and also what's happening? No. We have seen it time and time again. But one thing for sure, from reading this article, I would have found out that Mascherano is not looking at it in that way. Like it's David versus Goliath, or they are definitely the better team overall. He's looking at the game as it's the next opponent in front of them. It's not factoring who's better, what he has at his disposal. He's not looking at it that way. He's just looking at that these guys are set of players that we need to play. And based on how he speaks in the interview, you can obviously see that he's been looking in, especially at what Cavalier is doing. Alright, so the two face off in the first leg of round of 16 tie at the Chase Stadium here in Fort Lauderdale, with the visitors the clear underdogs. Rudolph Speed head coach of Cavalier doesn't mind. Yeah, technically him like the underdog role. Him love the underdog role. But in the JPL, he usually play the underdog role, but it's not underdog role again in the JPL. I thought he was one of the underdog. He played the underdog role in the Caribbean Cup, and it went well for him. Inter Miami Football Club have been impressive over the last few weeks, but played against a Cavalier unit that has been struggling with injury and spotty performances in the JPL. Still, Speed says his team has already put all that behind it and focusing on the game tonight. And we have finished our preparation. We trained on Monday, Tuesday, and this morning, Wednesday. We know what we're up against, he said. I know Messi rested because he wanted to be at his best to play us. Speed said it with a tinge of humor in his voice. But more seriously, he said, we understand their strengths, we will be ready. There's no secret about what they can do, and we have the players to carry it out. We know what to expect from them. The problem is, can we stop them? And that's a good question. That's a very, very good question. We know what they can do. But the big problem is, can we stop them? We Cavaliers, can we stop them? But there are other questions just as important, said Speed. Can they stop what we have been trying to do? Now, that's the thing, you know. Football is two-sided, right? And let me give a perfect example. Last night, we witnessed two teams of similar caliber in PSG and Liverpool. And I'm telling you, sometimes you have to have a bit of luck. And sometimes you'll have to grind out a game. And that was a grimy performance from Liverpool. And they got the result that they wanted to go back home with. So no, at home they're a little bit more confident. No, that is football. That is football. If the general public, if one would say that based on how football game go, are who deserve to win a game should win a game, obviously PSG would have won that game probably like 7-1, 7-3. Liverpool had 2 shots, I think about 2 or 3 shots the entire game, and 1 on target. And one on target was the goal. It goes to show that in football, if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't matter how good you are throughout the 90 minutes of football, or it doesn't matter how much dominance you have. Once you don't put the ball in the back of the net, any narrative can dispute. People can say anything. But so, in a game like this, despite being the underdog, despite being the team with the less quality, that does not necessarily mean there's no hope for you. Alright, so let's continue. Speed believes his young, his team. Speed believes his young, though experienced team has the advantage of playing without fear and apprehension, even as they play in what is the biggest competitive club game a Jamaican team will ever play. Experiencing, they also have some weaknesses, but to exploit them is a different ball game. We are prepared, but overall, this is an experienced team that has played over 20 international games. Our feet will be on the ground, Speed said. Lionel Messi won't be the only problem for our Speed unit, though, as Inter Miami boosted the likes of Sergio Busquets, Luis Suarez, and Jordi Alba, all of whom played with Messi during some of Barcelona's greatest days. Cavalier, on the other hand, will likely be looking to hitman Calvin to get them something from the game, while hoping that defenders like Giovanni Len can keep Inter Miami scoring to a minimum and keep them off of the team, or just stop them from scoring in total. It's very important we don't come and sit back. We have to take something home, especially to force Lionel to come home for the Jamaica to see him. Yes, yeah, well said, Len. We want to see him, yeah man. So keep it, do the thing. The defender also believes it's important for the players not to get starstruck and remember their professionalism for 90 minutes. It's very important to get at least a point from the game because, of course, we'll be having the home advantage and we're going to have a packed stadium. Every team on the road, we always try to get a positive takeaway so we can come home and get positive results. It's also an opportunity to show our talents at the biggest stage as millions will be watching, Leng added. Said it has been a dream come true for the players, the country and the Caribbean to play against Messi. Meanwhile, this is what Mascherano has to say about the entirety of the situation. Mascherano, Inter Miami head coach, who also played with Messi at Barcelona, said it's important to start the game on the front foot. It's important for us to try and play very good tomorrow night, he said. We know what we are playing at home in front of our fans, so we can have an advantage. We will be good to go to Jamaica and complete the job. Tomorrow night, last 16 for us is a final. That means, can we technically open the video by saying that he's viewing this as a final. As I said, nothing what happened before or no look further, nothing else. That night, tonight, which is actually tonight, it's a final for him, which is a mentality that you want to go into the game with. So we cannot think of any other thing other than the game, Mascherano said. Mascherano said Cavalier were a young team, but that made them dangerous. Now, that's a good point. You see, the thing with young players is that you don't know what to expect. Because at any moment, a youngster might decide, you know, let me just do something outrageous. A shot from way out, or just take on 2-3 players or cause some problems. The young players, one of the things having a lot of young players in the team, is, what that does is it takes away the fear factor. It takes away the fear factor. It's more of an experience for them. Enjoying the experience, enjoying the moment. It takes away all that. This is what Mascherano said. They didn't play last week because I think they were in reservation. They were in reservation for this game. They are going to be fresh, so it's only we can have a chance to play a very good and good game and start strong. So Mascherano is viewing this game as a final, and I think Rudolph Speed is also viewing it the same. The players now, I don't think Cavalier is the only young team. If you look at the Inter Miami team last weekend that played versus Houston Dynamo, the 3 oldest players in the squad are Luis Suarez, Busquets, Jordi Alba. Everyone else is under. I think one other player was 26, but everyone else was between the age of 19 or 20 to 23. So that's pretty much a very, very young squad. A squad with legs, despite they have like 3 or 4 players who, up in a age, So them not gonna have that much legs. But one thing for sure, they have a lot of legs around them to support them. They have the quality and the experience to help those youngsters go over the line. So the game in itself won't necessarily be an easy one. This definitely should be an exciting encounter. Cavalier team, a squad full of pure youngsters, high adrenaline, energy, work rate, enthusiasm, not so much a highest quality of like the players of the Inter Miami, but as you know, as the quote unquote thing is mentioned, it's David versus Goliath. No one expects David to have the same strength as Goliath. But one thing for sure, David utilized his strengths, what he knows he's good at, versus a Goliath. So let's see if Cavalier can utilize or do the same, utilizing their strength versus at Inter Miami. Anyway, smash the like button, people. Big up on yourself. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again. Tell us anything in the comment section. And we're out. God bless. MG Sports TV. We're here. Boom. You know what I mean?